will tell them what I'm feeling forevermore. I don't care about their feelings, not anymore. So let's show them that love is pure, no matter who it's for.
The things that we get to decide on, such as lighting and composition, isn't changing in photography, and it never will do. But the process of taking a picture has changed dramatically, especially now with mirrorless cameras. But for all the things that we've gained, the one thing that we're losing is part of the pleasure of taking the picture. The focus systems are now so good, the pictures are so sharp, but we've seen how many people are adapting vintage lenses over onto mirrorless cameras because they're just enjoyable and fun to use, and they give a different rendering compared to what you're getting from the really sharp and clinical look from a lot of the modern mirrorless lenses. So let me introduce to you the Artra Labs 50mm f1.1 manual focus lens.
Everything feels so abstract, yeah, it's complicated. What you say, the way you act, well, it makes me so confused. I don't know what to do anymore. Can't you just make up your mind? My heart drops when you play around. How can you be up when I'm down? Don't want to think about it right now.
In this video, we're going to be taking a look at this lens in a shoot that I did with my model Ellie. I'm going to tell you what this lens was like to use, what I think of the pictures that come out of it. Let me just quickly mention as well, this lens is available in a wide range of different mounts, so you can probably find it to fit your camera too. Now, you're probably thinking, f1.1 50mm is going to be a nightmare to focus. I have to say, when I started the shoot, I thought if I can get 2 out of 10 shots in focus, I'll be happy with that. So I'm just going to overshoot it, take loads and loads of pictures, and I hope that it works out. Initially, when I started out, I was using the screen on the back of the camera, and I was like, this is just difficult, and I don't want to keep zooming in to check focus and using focus peaking. I just find it very distracting. Lifted the camera up to mine and decided, right, let's use the viewfinder. I'm not keen on the viewfinders in mirrorless cameras. I prefer optical viewfinders, but I really like the rear screens on mirrorless cameras. And the reason for that is because the optical viewfinder gives me a better connection with the environment around me. That's why I like using the rear screen on the mirrorless cameras as well, because I can see the world like I normally do. But now I've got something to do, i.e. manual focus, and the picture I'm looking at is different from just being a clinical image. I was suddenly completely engaged in the process of taking pictures. And here's the thing, it is fun.
If you love me right, yeah, this could be the summer of our lives now, honey. Give it to me like you know you should now, baby. This could be the summer of our lives, the summer of our lives. The sunset's on fire, tell me your desires. We're not getting tired, baby, take me higher. I'm Sunday, you love it, come on, give me something. I know that you want it, boy.
Not only that, I'm getting 80% of the pictures in focus. I'm nailing it. f1.1. All of the pictures in this shoot were shot at f1.1. I don't know what was giving me such a good hit rate because I wasn't using any sort of focusing assistant. I was literally just looking through the viewfinder and focusing it, and it was very, very easy to do. One thing I'll say though is the A7R5 has an extremely large viewfinder, and it's very high quality as well. It's crystal clear, and I just didn't need to zoom in or anything. I could just judge it, and it worked perfectly every time.
Summer of our lives. Give it to me, baby, all night. We can keep on dancing all night. Give it to me, baby, all night. Give it to me, baby, all night. We can keep on dancing all night. Give it to me, baby, all night.
Who would have thought a Sony would be actually enjoyable to take pictures with? Now, you're probably thinking, yes, but you can just set any lens to manual focus and just manual focus with it. Yes, you could. That's true. That's absolutely true. But at the same time, you're not going to get the same rendering because with these vintage style lenses, like this one from Artra Labs, it's giving you a different look. It's giving you that low contrast look. What I will say is this is not as soft as a lot of other vintage lenses. It's designed more for these modern sensors. This lens has one flaw, which is, I guess, a kind of like a major flaw, which I think is its best strength actually at the same time. And that is that it flares really hard. And I love it for that. When I used to shoot with Nikon a lot, I always had a 50mm 1.8D in my bag. And the reason I kept that lens in my bag all the time was because it flared so much. And people would always say to me, oh, that lens, it's no good, it flares so much. And I was like, yeah, but when I want that look, that's when I pull that lens out the bag and I use it. But this lens will do that for the Sony system for me. This will be my go-to lens when I want to do portraits, when I want to get that flare into the picture. And I'm really excited to use this lens, perhaps on a sunset shoot or something like that, a different lighting environment, and really play with that. You could see this as a downside and a weakness, and technically it is. But it's also a characteristic of the lens. Flaring like this can give you some really pretty pictures as well. Sometimes it can ruin shots and sometimes it can actually make the shot. The lens is made of metal, and like other manual focus lenses, the focus throw on it's really long. So you need to turn the focuser in quite a lot to get it to move focus, but this makes it very accurate and easy to use. It's not jittery, it's smooth. I'd be really interested to know from you guys, do you have any lenses like that? Something that you use for certain occasions when you want a certain look. It might be a telephoto lens or a macro lens, or maybe it's some fisheye or wide angle lens where it's like a sometimes used lens because it's got a certain look about it. There's something that you like, but you don't use it all the time. It's not a common use lens, but it's one of those ones where every now and then you pull it out and you think, I'm going to use that one now. Let me know in the comments. I'd be really interested to see what you guys use, because I'm always amazed at how many different lenses you guys have. And it's loads of stuff that I've often never heard of as well. So I'm very interested to find out these things and research them. And I sometimes do a little Google to see what these things are. Let me know in the comments. You know, a few months ago, I did a video showing some pictures from Harper's Bazaar. They'd reprinted some of these old pictures from the 40s, 50s and 60s. And they just looked incredible. They were soft, but they were moody and they were full of character. Yes, they were shot on film, but they had something different. They weren't as clinical. But in the magazine, they compared as well in a few instances to what a newer modern rendition of that kind of image would look like. So you saw a very clean, sharp image on both pages. And I made a video about this for YouTube. And if you want to watch that, I suggest you have a look at it here. I'm going to leave it on the screen for you to look at. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new here. And I hope to see you again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.